Today, we're going to talk about how to do a Toeside Air on a surfboard. I'm Evan Netsch. We're back again here today to break down how to do a Toeside Air on a surfboard. We've talked about how to do a regular heel side air. Now we're going to talk about how to do a Toeside Air, loading off your toeside edge, which is a lot harder. But for me, it's kind of it opens a whole new door, a whole new evolution of tricks, especially in the waves. So let's talk about how to do that Toeside Air on a strapless surfboard. Today, I'm going to pretend the wind is at my back, coming straight towards you, right this direction. I'm regular footed. Honestly, I grew up surfing. I've spent so much time left foot forward. It's really hard for me to switch right foot forward and pop off my toeside edge. I can do it on a twin tip. I feel awkward. I get on a surfboard. I feel even more awkward. So I do pretty much all my toeside airs going left foot forward, especially because a lot of these toeside airs I do on a wave. It's great to learn them in flat water, but I really like applying them to a wave, especially in onshore wind conditions. And I'm always riding a wave in my natural stance, left foot forward. So we're going to talk about how to do a Toeside Air in that stance. So first, of course, we will be riding toeside. You want to be very comfortable on your toeside edge, kiting. And the principle in a Toeside Air is very much the same as your regular heel side air. Carve up into the wind, nose high into the wind, keep wind on the bottom of the board, turn the board to point off the wind and land. The foundation is very similar. In practice, it's a lot harder because it's just a lot harder to load the toeside edge on the board. So let's talk about how to do it. One, it really helps to be powered. If you're underpowered, I feel like you have to rely a little more off of a wave for kick and push for your height, or if you're in flat water, you have to rely a bit more on the kite power. It's harder, I think, for pretty much anyone to load and pop off their toeside edge as effectively as they can off their heel side edge. So on your toeside edge, riding along in, say, flat water, I'll be sheeted out, kite nice and high, really get my back foot back on the board, over the fins. That way you've got a lot of control. And having a board, I would say that I find has a little bit more of a rounder outline. Some of the very square boards, I find are a little bit harder to pop on your toeside edge sometimes, especially in chop. So in chop, having a little more rail curve helps me, at least in choppy water conditions. So I'm going to look for my takeoff point first. I'm riding with my kite fairly high, my hand really centered on the bar, because we're going to have our top hand on the bar when we do that air. But when we sheet in, we don't want that kite to go flying backwards and pull us off. We want to always keep that kite forward. So hand very close to the center of the bar. And I focus too on rolling my wrist, turning that bar when I'm in the air to keep that kite going forward in the way that I want to go. So as I find my takeoff point, usually just a little piece of chop or some sort of surface texture or a point on the wave that I'm going to focus on taking off on, I'm really going to be riding along, and I'm going to sheet out basically as far as I can. And sheeting way out is going to allow me to turn higher into the wind. If you sheet in before you pop off the water, it's really hard to edge, especially on your toeside edge. It's hard to cut into the wind. And we're going to create lift by going into the wind. Just like when you run on the beach with your kite, if you run into the wind, you create lift. Same for a jump. We need to get ourselves as far into the wind as possible, and we do that by sheeting out. Now, as soon as we find our takeoff point and we start carving up into the wind off our toeside edge, try to leave pointed straight into the wind. We're completely sheeted out. And at that point, as soon as we're leaving the water, then we can sheet in for that lift. Now, as we leave the water, the nose of our board is pointed into the wind. We sheet in for that lift, and I try to extend my back leg, push my back leg into the wind. It turns the board somewhere between 90 and 180 degrees. You push the back leg into the wind, and then you sheet it in to create that lift off the water. Once I'm up, I'm usually sheeting out. That way I don't continue to, say, outlift my board and just leave my board behind. I'll sheet out a bit to control the amount of lift I have, And then as I'm pointed back downwind, I'm coming into land, and I'll sheet in again as I land to try to soften that landing. And also it gives you more kite control. That way you can steer the kite as you land. So the key is, I would say, is sheet way out, front hand off the bar. You want to be able to reach into the wind. That helps open up your shoulders. If you're twisted up, it's really hard to get that pop. So front hand off the bar, carve up into the wind, do your air. Quite often I use that front hand to grab that toe side edge of the board. I feel like always grabbing the edge of the board that's into the wind gives you the most control and helping you keep the board on your feet. Grab that toe side edge, usually between my feet. It's considered an indie grab. You can kind of tweak it out sometimes. It feels really nice, and then as you come into land, you can kind of sheet in on the bar. I usually leave that back hand off, I would say, basically through the entirety of the trick, unless I start doing some sort of toe side rotation. So that is your basic toe side air. We're gonna also dive into detail on a toe side 180, which in surfing would be like an air reverse. So I hope this video was helpful. There's more to come. We're gonna build off this, keep working on our toe side edge, toe side airs. And if this video is helpful for you, for your strapless riding, please feel free to subscribe. If you like this video, we really appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. And I'm looking forward to making more videos like this to come to help you progress your riding. Thanks so much for watching.